So you're not doing the other thing?
We'll call the meeting in order of the Johnston County Board of Elections for September the 8th, 2022. I'd like to welcome all our guests who are here today, and there will be a section for comment in a few minutes. If you'd like to share anything, you'll have that opportunity. First item is to approve the agenda. Has everybody seen the agenda that Leanne has prepared?
Motion to approve.
There's motion and second to approve. Any discussion? If not, we'll vote on the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have been provided proposed minutes for our August 11 and August 19 meetings. I hope you had an opportunity to review those. If not, you can take a moment now, but whenever you're ready, we'll entertain a motion that they be approved.
One thing, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Do we need to put, when a member is attending remotely?
I probably should have.
I think that's a good idea. I don't know if it's a legal requirement, but I think it would be correct to do that.
I was gonna look at that number memo and, that, you know,
In fact,
reaffirmed our ability to do that, but I wondered if that was something we should do. That's my only comment about the,
My
August
recollection,
11th.
my recollection is that they said it should be noted in the minutes if somebody's attending remotely. So I think that's a good point. So,
motion to approve as amended.
okay. And motion to approve is amended. It's been seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now, this time, we get to our public comments, and so we would invite anyone who has any comments they would like to share to come forward and share them at this time.
I was voluntold. Good afternoon, all you beautiful faces. Your hair is beautiful, just to let you know. I'm Wendell LeMay. I am the precinct chair from Micro and the Democratic nominee for House 28. Today I want to talk about two issues that have been brought to my attention. One was that candidates do not feel like we need to be treated like animals and corralled. But we do need to have responsibility. And I think that each candidate should be sent a letter from Leanne asking them to agree to a code of conduct that will include not allowing their volunteers to intimidate any voter. This is so important. Free elections and fair elections are the reason that we have a democracy. We need to make sure that each and every candidate is held accountable for their volunteers. And it may even go to as far as listing who is going to be on the voting site that day, so that if Gordon or John or Leanne have to come out, or Dr. Hooker has to come out, they know who they're coming out to talk to. I don't think it's a big thing to ask. I think that we have to make sure that it is regulated, safe, but most of all, accessible to the voter. That means that we don't need to be running up to their car, and we don't need to be yelling at them from the distance. That is a big issue. I've seen personally in other counties real voter intimidation. I was in a county down east during the primary where 4 Proud Boys holding assault rifles were standing directly across the street from this place's few and far between early voting site. And the sheriff was standing on the other side. We don't need that in Johnston. So I think the best way for us to do it is to do it as adults. And that is to agree, written agreement, that we will not allow our volunteers to intimidate anyone. Now I'll move on to my second. My second is kind of an easy one. I love your Facebook page. I And I know your Facebook person here is amazing. And I know the staff is amazing. And during registration to become a candidate, we got updates every day. But when I go to your website, I can't find a list of candidates. I have no way of knowing who's running where, what their political party is. I have no, and as a member of the media now, I have to go back to your Facebook page and look at each day. Or I have to go to the state board where there's a list. And trust me, it's not easy to find. It's listed under Johnston County, but it's not easy to find. Is there any way that we can get a candidates page put up before early vote? Because if we can educate voters directly at the website. And I think it'll be simpler and easier. And you'll also know that these people agreed, because they're going to have to sign a waiver stating that as a candidate, they are agreeing to have their name on your website. Again, responsibility of candidates. Thank you.
Thank you, and stay tuned. I would say both things.
I have high respect for you all, and I know that you do what is right for the voter. And that is a change in Johnston County over the last 40 years. So thank you very much for continuing the good work. I like what you said, Gordon, at the courthouse when we had the voters. You said, and you turned to Leanne and you said, it's like a family. It's not the R and the D, it's the JOCO. And that was so nice. And in case you didn't get a chance to, it's available on the Tagler, all the different parts. So, and I'm not paying you royalty.
Thank you. Okay, would anyone else like to talk?
Hi there, everyone. I'm Jean. I live in Benson. And thank you very much for doing the tour in our district last week or thereabouts. There was something that I wanted to ask, but it was so difficult to ask the question there because we had to put them on cards, and I guess there wasn't enough time. But I looked up the 1993 motor vehicle law that has to do with registering voters, and because it's from 1993 and now it's 2022, things probably have gotten a little muddy since then. But I wanted to remind you guys, so maybe you can bring it up to the state. I'm not sure what the path would be, but it says in here very specifically that the driver's license agency is their purpose serves as notification of change of address for voter registration, updates, and anything that the person goes into DMV for is supposed to go to the Board of Elections. So if they're not doing that, I guess that's one thing. But if they are, it seems like there would be less of a reason to hire the ERIC system to do the interstate work that DMV is already supposed to be doing for us. So I just thought that would be food for thought that you guys might want to discuss with your state people, because in HB 103, they allocated a lot of these funds called HAVA funds, which I'm sure it's federally funded, but of course it all comes back to us. So I just thought I would put that out there so it could be a discussion, because I didn't know why we needed ERIC if DMV is supposed to be doing this. So it's section 5 of NVRA is the Motor Voter Act that I'm referring to. So anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, well, hearing none, we will move on, and thank you for your public comments. And we'll move on, and now we're going to get to our Pre and post-election meetings, Leanne.
Okay. The time of election, election day is November the 8th, but we also need for you to set a time when we need to do our reconciling of the one-stops and also the absentee ballots by mail. And in past history, we've met on election day at 2 o'clock here.
So moved.
You say election day at 2 o'clock? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Mhm.
Okay. Second. Any discussion on that? If not, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And then the next would be the provisional meeting. In past history, we met the Thursday before canvass, which would be the November 17th at 4 o'clock.
I'm sorry, what time?
November 17th at 4 o'clock.
4.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
And that'll also be at the satellite, correct?
It would be right.
Okay.
Motion carries. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. November the 8th, election day at 2 o'clock. Okay, thank you. And then, and with y'all doing that, here is all the meetings that we are required to have. I put in 2 of those, we run out, you might make a copy. I put in 2 if needed. If you remember in 2020, we if needed a lot. So I only scared, we have, how many, Angie, 800? Over 800 to do tomorrow's the day, first day absentee ballots, I'm gonna go out. And so we'll be stuffing envelopes tomorrow, sending them out. So, and I don't know how much more requests that we'll get, but the required ones are the October 4th, 11th, the 18th, the 25th, and the 1st. They're the ones that are required by law for us to have to do. And I just put in there 2 Fridays if needed. I don't think we'll need them, but I just put them in there just in case we might need them. But then that's all the election dates we have through canvass.
Thank you.
These are set by statute, right?
Yes, correct.
So this is a matter for our information, we don't have to take action.
You don't have to know,
Sorry.
that's just.
Sorry, set up. Okay. Any comments? From the board? Okay,
All right, and next is a text my gov update. Do y'all, if, Debbie and Henry would like to talk about Text My Gov is a product that we are looking at to,
Thank you so much.
yeah,
Thank you very much.
that we're looking at. It has a scan barcode that we can put on our, well, it's not a scan bar, it's Q something. QR code that we can put on our website and on our Facebook page. Anything that we send out that they can scan that, it'll text them a number, and then they can ask, the public can ask questions. It will tell them where they can vote, where the one-stop hours are. It's a lot of information that we get inundated with calls during an election. And this particular service will take it, you can ask them, I think it was 100 questions. That was about 100 questions or more.
program your own, yeah.
Program our own, so yes. And so we can put it on the Johnston County webpage. And they gave me 2, Iredell County is using it, Guilford County is using it, and then another county that in South Carolina that was using it. I called the South Carolina one first, the man just, they had 40,000 registered voters, and he said it was absolutely wonderful, and he was the one that is responsible for it at the board. He's the deputy director there, and he said it was the best thing, that they had cut their phone calls down in half, and people had really got engaged. Cause you can go on the back end and you can see how many hits it's had, or what's the top most frequent asked questions. It's, and then I called the lady in Iredell County, and they're both of them are new to it, and they both said that it was absolutely wonderful.
I don't know who is it?
Iredell, well, the one was Guilford County, but he did not return my call.
He gave us a phone number and we could text.
We did a test on our
Yes.
phones, yeah.
Yeah,
A dummy number had it set up so we could do.
we could ask questions and he'd give us an answer.
What'd you think?
Oh, it was great. It's, you know, we've heard a lot of issues about the website, and that may or may not get fixed quickly, but this is a sort of add-on to the website, and, but it is interactive. It is programmed to answer some questions. It'll ask you, what do you want, what do you need, and if you program it to look for certain things. I need to know where I'm supposed to vote. I need to know when's the last day that I can register. I need to know this or that or the other, whatever it is. And it'll text them back the answer, but it'll also send them links to other places to get information at state board or otherwise. Anyway, you can set it up any way you want to do it, but it's, you know, where do I vote is a big one.
But it'll ask you what your address is and just put your
Yeah,
address in.
put your address in, and it'll tell you where you vote and all that kind of stuff, and when the polls are open, it'll tell you when the polls are open, and all those kinds of things, so. It's really, I think it would be very much used, and it would it would free up staff to do other things that, you know, would require their attention, and not have to handle as much of this, but it's not that it pushes it off. It does a really great job with it. It's not just to free up staff time, but it does free up staff time, but it does a good job. I thought, the demonstration, I was impressed by the demonstration, and it was very user-friendly.
Yes. That's what, I could even do.
It was very user-friendly. And, so, anyway, if you look at the, third page of the handout, you see the cost of it per year. And it would be for a 3-year contract. And then you see up at the top, what the package would be.
Did you copy the one where they gave us a discount?
Well,
It's
there's,
not big enough.
Through September 30th.
right. But,
And how long does it take to implement?
well, they have, you know, IT people that would immediately go to work with us. I mean, we tell them what we wanted to do, but they would have, they've got enough experience in other areas that they can tell us what other people are doing, and we can see from that. The number that, you know, he gave Leanne, those aren't the only other people using it. Those are the ones in our area. It's new to North Carolina, but it's, in, the western part of the country, it's in several states out there. So they've got a track record.
How does it differ from, you know, going to the state website where it's, you know, where do I vote? If you Google that, it'll take you right to the state website.
You can do it on your phone. That's the big thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Well,
It'd be
You-
faster if you had one of them.
it's faster, yeah, it's a little bit quicker, but I think it would be for those who would prefer to text, than Google. But
I'm not state website would be that picture, being in the state where you vote, wouldn't it?
If you type in, where do I vote and see, it says election day polling search. Vote in person, election day. Where's my voting location? There's all these,
Well, punch in your address to see how long it takes. Seriously, I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know.
where's my voting location here? Smithfield, North Carolina.
Is that the main question you get?
No, when does absentee, early voting start, when, what am I registered? Girls, what's other stuff that, y'all answer the phone more than I do. Early voting
First
information,
register.
What the hours are?
hours of operation, How do I change my address?
See the absentee request?
Yes. Have y'all got my absentee ballot back?
It's a big one.
Did y'all approve it?
Okay, keep going. Anything else?
Did they ask us
Yeah, I
on
mean,
the phone?
yeah, I mean,
Get 100 questions.
and it says 100,000 text messages per year, is that the limit?
For that price.
For that price.
So what happens if we
But
go
we-
over?
Charge
In terms, yeah, they charge you by, I forgot how many, I didn't bring my card.
It doesn't say that on that
You
chart.
got 100,000 people on
It doesn't say
social
that.
media that you just.
It is on the page,
Okay.
in that third box at the top. That's really pretty cheap when you think about the cost of an employee.
I did think about that already, but, so $750 for 100,000, but it
That's for an
doesn't,
additional $100,000. You get $100,000 for the initial price.
right, okay.
Well,
Sell me on this thing now.
well, I mean, you think about it. That's 100,000 questions and answers that staff doesn't have to do.
Do we get that many? Or do we get more than that?
Roughly, at one time, Ella did us a thing, and I think between a 2 or 3 week period, we roughly had like 6,000 phone calls. It was ridiculous. And 2,000 or 1,500 of those was just on election day. That's why I had like a call center with nothing but 4 people answering questions.
And so, how do we access this thing again, with the QR code?
Put it on
Mhm.
put it on the website.
You can just.
Or you can do text my, it's a little, it'll be something unique to us for Johnston. What, a number that they can text.
And is there a charge to the voter?
No,
Okay.
no charge to that. And all the phone numbers are secure. Remember you told us about that, how that was?
Yeah.
That there wasn't any kind of,
Don't sell anybody.
they don't sell anything, they don't give them any numbers out. They don't do anything.
Okay.
And we can also use it for our precinct officials to send them a message.
How phone savvy do you think our population is
Oh, that's the company.
to use this?
Depends on the age.
Yeah.
Shit, it's me.
They're becoming more, the older ones are becoming more.
I struggle with this in our business every day, you know,
Right.
is it worth doing the website ticketing and that kind of stuff? So,
And how would you let people know about it?
Well, that's, we
On the
can put it
website?
on our,
Well,
on the,
that's not
but we can
exactly
also put it
working for
in,
yeah,
in the Johnston, in the water bills. Every town sends out water bills, the county sends out water bills, we could put something, and I think that's how he said he could help us with the, within the price, help us promote it.
I mean, we could put it on the stationery, just like that.
Sure.
I mean, you could
Yeah,
put it on, and every time you
Mhm.
communicate anything
Yes.
in paper,
Yes.
you got a number there on it, just put it
probably during our one-stop sites, if it's approved, we'll put it at our one-stop sites with a big, do a big thing. And it sends updates. I think once you get in it, you can schedule it to anybody that has texted you when early voting starts, you can just send a mass thing, early voting start, and everybody's phone, ding, 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 they'll get it. Ding, 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 ding.
Do that one more time.
But everybody would receive it. Anybody that signs up for it, we can alert them to what's happening in Johnston County.
And so, this might be jumping the gun a little bit, or jumping ahead in the discussion, but like, last time when you reported on the website update, you said by October.
Yes, and it may be closer than that, because, was it Friday before we left? Yes. We had a Google Meet with our little webmaster, and she gave us the product. And we had some suggestions, and it looks so much better. It's just like, when there's early voting, the little top has every question about early voting. You know, I mean, it's eye-catching. We have little blocks that you click on for candidates, for voters, for absentee, and what was the other one? Public information, I can't, public something on it. But once you click on the box, down below it is the list what's in that box. Are you registered? How do I look at my registration? I mean, it was really, I was impressed. It was really good. It wasn't, you looked at it and you didn't go, oh my gosh, what do you do? You were excited, Lonnie. I mean, I was excited.
I was very excited.
I thought, wow, yeah, so I felt, I mean, she realizes that we need it. I mean, we've been needing it 3 or 4 years ago.
Right.
But we had to wait in line for those above us. But, so we gave her the go-ahead to fix what we suggested that she fix. And she was gonna start coding it on the back end, whatever that means. So she hopefully would have it up running by October the 1st. Hopefully earlier if at all possible.
And is that something that the county is paying for, or? does
That's
it
her
come
job
out-
for the candidates. Is it? Yes.
So the Text My Gov,
Mhm.
do they have to go through the drop downs and all that stuff, or do they ask a specific question?
It asked to, like, let me see if I can find that number that we said. I bet I have it.
we ask it?
Yes, you could just type polling place and send it, and then it'll send you back where to click on to get to the polling places. What else do we, am I registered? You can just do keywords. I don't know that I've got that number. It was just keywords to text it.
When you first wrote in, it gave you a thank you. I mean, you can read that.
Yeah, it says, welcome to Johnston County election, because I put polling location. It says, welcome to Johnston County election. To find your polling place, please use this link. And you match the link and it sends you directly to the Board of Elections, or if ours is in place, it sends directly to ours.
Which was the state board.
Mhm. And then I put voter registration, and it sent me, looking to register to vote, here's your application. Sends you a link for you to the application.
I put poll issues and it said, what issue are you having? Then, you know,
Yeah.
you could put in what issue you're having.
If I knew, I would fix it.
It's like the conversation that you would have if you got through and were able to talk to somebody in the staff. It's very similar to that.
And if they
Okay,
can't answer
so-
your question, I think they ask what's the best number to contact you. And then us on the back end would know how to look and follow up with that person.
Like I put report nuisance, it said, thank you for submitting the issue. We will be in touch shortly to resolve the problem, which would signal to them they needed to call me. Okay.
So how is this different than an auto attendant? Where you press 1 for, press 2, is it like that?
It is an auto attendant, in a sense, I think. It's just set up for us.
Artificial.
And it is
Program.
automated.
What's it called? An auto attendant versus.
I don't know.
I don't think this is that price at all.
I was a little bit surprised by the price, pleasantly surprised. another add-on, it's just a, you know, some people like Pepsi, some people like Coke, some people rather do it like that, some people rather do it another way, you know, but, and it helped reach people and lighten the load on the staff. So,
If our two representatives think this is the best one,
I was impressed with it.
it's a 3-year commitment though, right?
yeah,
That'd be enough time to figure out if it was working for us like we wanted it to.
Especially with the presidential in 2024, we'll get more bang for our bucks with it. I mean, really.
right, I mean, that's the thing, if we're gonna do it, it'd be good to have, work out the kinks before 2024.
So do you need a motion?
Profile motion.
I make a motion that we do this text my gov proposal.
Is there a second?
Second?
Okay. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Very good. That'll be an interesting experiment, but I feel good about it. I really do. Okay, Chief Judge training, Leanne.
Okay, we are having Chief Judge training here next Tuesday, 13th at 4 o'clock. It'll be a 4-hour training for all chief judges, and I've only had one chief judge that says they're not coming, and I think they'll send somebody in their place, either one of the Republican or Democrat judges in their place to get what we're, our training. So, with that being said, if any board members would like to come, want to come just for supper, if you Parkside's catering.
What was that name?
Can the media
September
come?
13th, and I'll just give you a little bit about what we're gonna do. There's not a lot of stuff that has changed within the rules and regulations or whatever. But we figured it would be good for them to come and get a big refresher course from stuff that we have learned from 2020. And really and truly, it was amazing the things that they did in 2020. I mean, it was a good election with the precinct officials. I also, in going back with our virtual meeting that we had with the state board, I've given you, well, first of all, the chief judge's training, I'll tell you that, and then I gave this to you. This is the training dates that we're doing for the precinct officials. And that would be a general training that we're having, and then we'll have the different training registration and help desk, and then I've got a new precinct officials training. So these are all the trainings that we'll be doing. If anyone wants to come to any of these trainings, you are welcome to come. They'll be at the Agricultural Center. We didn't put that on here. I don't think we did. We know where it's at, but y'all don't. Everything's gonna be there. We're gonna set up the early voting training from October 7th to the 13th. That'll be here. But the September 26th through October 5th, that's gonna be at the Ag Center.
How long do these last?
Well, the chief judge's training's gonna last 4 hours. We're gonna do it in 2 parts. We're gonna have how to pack your supplies, how to unpack your supplies, and what you do will be in the other bit. So once they come in, we have a general meeting, we're gonna eat, and then we'll split up. And when we split up, I really like the fact that the state board did a segment on de-escalation skills. So the PowerPoint that we saw there, I tweaked the PowerPoint. So this is the PowerPoint, I just gave you a copy of what we're gonna be training our precinct officials on how to do have some great de-escalation skills. I think they're gonna need it.
So this will be for more than the chief judges? It'll be
Yes,
for-
I'm gonna do it in the general trainings will get it. Everyone has to come to the general trainings either September 26th or 27th. And then we'll do the hands-on. I will not do it in the hands-on. I'll do it in the 26th, 27th, and I'll do it again October the 7th, when we have the new precinct officials training. So the chief judge will get it, and then all the workers will get the de-escalation skills. Yes, ma'am?
Could you send me a copy of that information they're looking at?
Yes, ma'am, I will. You're welcome.
Very good.
Any other questions, comments?
So there'll be role playing?
Yes.
I really think that's
Yes.
helpful.
Okay.
And the general training, is that really from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.?
No, it's 10 a.m. and we have 6 p.m. class. Isn't that how we, yeah, that's what it is. 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., 10 a.m. class to 6 p.m. class. I wouldn't have a worker. I would have nobody
Long
left.
day. Long day.
Yeah.
That's why I was asking how.
I don't know if I can talk that much. No, they're usually, it depends on, and this, for the general, not that you give them a pop quiz, but I'm gonna have questions that they can ask that should stimulate their brain on.
And so then it's at the Ag Center until October 7th.
Then everything will be here. So I don't have a clue where y'all will be at some of our meetings in October. Like that Tuesday meeting, we might since we'll be set up for training, so we'll see what we're gonna do, where you'll be.
You gotta train them.
Yeah. I think that's the only one that involves, that's the only one, the October 11th is the only one that it interferes with. We'll figure out something when we get there.
The 11th will be here, but
And the 11th will be here also. But we may can train them in the one next door, I think that's what we sort of said, haven't we? Against the wall, yeah, we'll probably have to then move it back, yeah.
So do you do all the training, or does Ashley and Angie today?
I will do the general training with some of their help with skits and stuff. I try to do one registration and one help. I have, yes and no.
That's good.
It is hard for me not to train them because that's what they expect and that's what I've always done. It is too difficult for me to do it, all these sessions. I would be dead, I couldn't do it. So in the past, all 4 of us have done maybe 3 or 4, and then I had 2 chief judges that come in and do it together the rest of the time. And then if something happens they can't, we will fill in. But with it being at the Ag Center, probably one of us will be on hand at each one of these trainings, just in case something. Because last time we tripped a breaker and because we had too much, it was a habit. So I mean, we need somebody from the office needs to really be there at each training. Yes.
And we didn't know that. Yeah. Several times.
Yeah. you're welcome to come for supper, you want me to tell the menu? That might entice
Depends
you.
on who's
Parkside's catering it, so it'll be good.
Yeah, last time our menu didn't work too good in the last week.
No, it didn't, but this one, yes. So if y'all want to come for supper, we're gonna eat, what we say, 5:30, 46, yeah. And I have ordered enough, if you're welcome to come.
Okay, anything else?
You can just keep on going with my comment.
Well,
Okay, go
are we
ahead.
done with that, the training? Okay, let's go into your director's comments, please.
Okay, all right. I wanted to know, first of all, what y'all did think of the virtual conference that the state board had this time.
Parts of it was better than
Oh,
in the
yeah.
past.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They've stepped up, haven't they?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it
getting
was-
better.
Overall, that was better, I thought.
I mean, too. I really like that, yeah.
I love Bob's voice, though.
And I like hearing too. And I want to thank you, Deborah, for do not stop sending me emails. You really, no. It's surprising how we're about on the same wavelength, because I already told them about doing the de-escalation, that we need, that was the, so Deborah had sent me an email that had suggested that we look into things, and I really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for that, because it does make a difference, yes, it does, yes. And one of our questions, which we had that on the thing, was what kind of relationship do we have with law enforcement? And what's the what the point person, who's contact, and, can we get them quickly? And the answer to that is yes. There's not a single time that I haven't called. I've got Steve's cell phone number and Benji's cell phone number, his right-hand man. So that if something has happened like it has in the past, I call him direct. I used to call Benji first, and then he sends whoever he needs to send. But in saying that, in training, I'm gonna go over a part about what they need to do if something arises in their precinct, and I'm not gonna give out their cell phone numbers, but we'll have some sort of point, like in Clayton, I'm gonna contact the Clayton Police Department, can probably get there quicker. So wherever the areas are, the site managers of the early voting sites will have their point of contact. They'll know how to contact somebody. And so one of the other questions I thought that we're gonna talk about during training will be the guidelines for poll observers. And I like the fact that our tour meeting, what Philip Strack said about about the poll observers. And a suggestion was made that I contact the party chairs. Supposedly the guidelines that we have on poll observers, supposedly they're supposed to give little cards out to the chief judges and each of the polling places, some sort of little pamphlet or something to hand out, so that would help them. When I train the chief judges, we'll have a section on poll observers, the do's and the don'ts. But I like what he said when he did his training. He told them not to say a word. He said, you're there to observe. You're not there to talk or to ask questions. You observe and then report your facts and findings back to the thing. So, in the past, we've not had a lot of trouble with the inside observers. They're very respectful, as when they come into the precinct, they do go to the chief judge and they do check in. That's one thing that I tell both Sharon and Daryl, that they need to have some sort of badge or something on to let us know who they are. And so we do, the chief judges will periodically, or supposed to periodically, ask them, how are they doing, can they help them with anything? I think that's the problem not the problem, but people think poll observers is there to try to catch you at something that you're doing wrong. And somehow or another, they're doing their job. I don't think they want to catch you at something. I just want to think in my little mind, I think that they're there just to make sure everything runs smoothly.
To be an assurance.
Yes, and that's what I try to tell them, and I think they look at it, some of them look at it like it intimidates them because they're scared to do anything, because they're scared that they're gonna get reported on something. But I said, as long as you do what you're supposed to do, they can't report you. So we're really gonna have a section on that with our chief judges about poll observers, yes. And whatever new material that we get, when we updated the precinct officials, the poll observers, I think it was last year, no, it was this year, I sent a copy. So anything that I get like that, I do forward to Daryl and do forward to Sharon. Yes. And to answer.
Can we take that one step further?
Yes.
Did you say that we have those guidelines in the polling places?
Yes, there is the do's and the don'ts for, and they're in the chief judge's manual.
So does the chief judge give that to the observer when they come?
Yes, they're supposed to.
Yes.
Correct. And I don't know if you're in training who does the training for each party, if they give those out. I don't know what they give. I don't know what kind of materials they give out, but they should be given. I gave them enough that they can hand out at their training. Deborah sent a question, and I didn't bring the question but it was a good question that you brought up last time about buffer zone. I did get a response this morning. I was keep thinking every day I get a response. So this morning I looked at my emails and I did not get one. So I sent it back to the legal team, and then I sort of CC'd Karen Brinson back and told her that I needed this answer by 4 o'clock today because I had a board meeting. They had it for 2.5 weeks. So I got a call at 5 minutes to 3, from the legal Paul Cox. His explanation to that 163, 166, is that what it was?
163, 166.4.
.4, yes. That is, you can establish a boundary for precinct, for electioneering to go in. You have the right to do that. That's what that law is for. Not everybody goes by that. He knows maybe 2 to 3, I think Lee County, I can't remember the other county said, that tested it and did it, and it was a mess. It caused more trouble. It caused more trouble than it was worth. He said that was something that the board wanted to take on. He just wanted to let me know that was one thing. Do what? Have at it. Well, that wasn't his words, but he did sort of chuckle. Yeah, he said, you can, and you have the right to. You can do that. Yes. But he said the backlash is you've got people that do right, and then you've got people that don't do right, and you put them all together in one. They're going to, yeah, one crowd. Because eventually, the good doers are going to be as bad as the bad people, because they're all going to come out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No matter what boundary you put up, it's not going to be. They're not going to do it.
Well, our last election proved that.
Yeah, exactly.
That after one person electioneering was called inside the 50-foot,
Yes.
we get a call saying that, well, somebody for the other
Yes.
candidate has his foot on the line.
Correct.
We didn't get time for that.
No. And so, I understand that it would be wonderful if you could do a 50-foot and have something as big as this room for everybody to stand in and know that they can't go over this particular line or whatever. But that's, I had to really get an extra precinct official to sit outside Clayton. That's how bad Clayton got. Every day. I'm not doing it this time. I just figured if you get more than, and he said incident reports, and they did incident reports on this. So every time someone is asked to do something and they disobey, then that's an incident report. So I don't know if you want to say if you get 3 incident reports, you're gone. At 5 incident reports, you're gone. But there's got to be something that we can do that we mean business. That, and we have the right to ask them to leave the premises. That is in the law book too. That's in the law. So we don't,
Well, that's interesting because, when I read the law, it did seem to
Clearly.
say
Mm-hmm.
that we could, you know, set up the boundary, but
Right.
I mean, given that that has not been how the situation has been for as long as I've been in Johnston County.
Right.
I mean,
No.
it would be a rude and probably ugly awakening if
Yeah,
we tried to
it'd be
do this.
silly.
But I mean, what do you think about, you know, trying to look at my notes, which recommendations that Wendy made about, you know, letters to the candidates, just saying, you know, we would appreciate,
Sure, I would be more than happy to do that.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. Just so we make an effort, you know, in that direction.
And that way I'd have it in writing,
Just that we have asked.
that we have asked,
Yeah.
correct?
Okay.
I don't know that Clayton will be as bad this time since we're gonna be in the bigger gym area. And we really have not had trouble in Clayton before, except this last election. Most trouble's been in Smithfield.
Okay, well, thank you for doing that.
Yeah. And I gave you a website update, and with her doing the website, she asked if we want to come up with a mission, an updated mission statement to go on our website.
I think our chairman can do that for us.
You make a motion? So, I mean, that's, she had asked that, and so I told her that I would, it had to
No
be
problem with
something.
the current emissions?
Well, I don't remember half what it says, to tell you the truth, I didn't, I'll have to go back and look, I'll look and send it
Does
to you.
anybody ever remember any emission statements?
No, probably not.
Well, anyway, we'll take a look at it.
Okay, okay. But that was something that she.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
You actually have a good mission statement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys are, yours is pretty good.
I thought it was pretty good.
It's a really good mission statement.
Not as
So
good
just
as mine
maybe
or
we need to
yours,
take a
but we
look
can
at it,
help
make
write
sure
it for
it's
them.
okay.
That's still good?
It's still good, yeah.
It may still be good.
Yeah, yeah.
It says, it is the mission of the Johnston County Board of Elections to ensure that elections are free, fair, accurate, convenient, and accessible to all voters in Johnston County.
I don't see anything wrong with it.
I think it's just been ratified.
Okay, well, I'll just tell her to use the current one, that's
Okay,
fine.
yeah.
Okay.
Exactly what it's supposed to be.
If it ain't broke.
Don't fix it.
Don't fix it.
I think that's all I had, I was like, yes. Go back and look.
Will you be thinking, we'll move on.
Yeah.
Is there any other business or remarks that anybody on the board would like to bring to the group? Deborah, thank you for those things that you brought up. I think they're all good.
Yeah.
points.
It's good to have a fresh set of eyes. You know, we've all seen it so long, and you coming in new, you see something that we haven't seen or thought about before, and I do appreciate that.
And it's certainly a lot to think about.
Oh, it is. It
I
is
only
a
get
lot.
one,
It is.
so I'll give you two.
Two's enough.
Yeah.
All right.
Second one, you get going.
Well, if nobody has anything else to bring before the board, is there a motion that we adjourn?
Motion to adjourn. Thank you, Shirley.
Is there a second? Okay.
She said.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
That's the
Motion
job
carries.
they like to do.
Yeah, right.
We're adjourned. Thank